Here with us, as you can see, to take us through their selection of the newspapers this morning, Assistant Editor of Spiked Online, Ella Whelan, and A&E Doctor Kishan Rees. Welcome back to both of you.
Kishan, turning to the Sunday Express today, obviously with you being a doctor, fascinating to get your view. Cuts sound death knell for the NHS is the headline. I suppose the easy question is, what do you think about it? Absolutely.
I mean, my concern is with Brexit, with Trump, the NHS is kind of relegated to a side story, which is really important that we stop that happening. The BMA have come out with a report saying that there's secret government plans to impose radical and rapid spending cuts. They're not really that secret, I don't think. I think people are aware about them and people are talking about it. And certainly my concern with this is we're not squeezing the frontline staff into, exploiting their goodwill. Yes, money potentially needs to be saved in areas. I think there are areas where you can have efficiency, and innovation plays a big part in that. That takes time, and that's a longer term win. My concern, what I see on the front line is, you have doctors falling asleep at the wheel on the way home and dying, losing their lives. Nurses having to use food banks because their wages don't allow them to live.
And those are both things that you have direct experience of hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my colleagues in the year above me in Leicester, he sadly lost his life. He was singing to his wife on the way home, and he crashed and he died. And I know nurses that have to use food banks and stuff, and I know nurses that leave and go and work and manage in Aldi. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they get paid more to do that. And they don't get the abuse, as we were talking about. It's not just the Charlie Gard case, it's on a daily basis in A&E, people coming in, shouting, screaming at staff for various reasons.
What do you do about something like that, though? Because that's not pertaining to money, is it? People's attitude towards...
I think it is. I think it is because the pressure is so... the situation is so pressurised and everything is everyone's working on goodwill and tempers fray. I think if you fund a service properly and you get people through quickly and they're not sitting around waiting for 10 hours, then they're going to be less annoyed. So I can see it from both sides. And I just think my concern is frontline staff aren't having to bear the brunt of these cuts and efficiency savings, really.
Kishan, I really want to get this story in that you've picked out, Warhead antibiotics to take on superbugs. This is an issue that doesn't actually get enough airtime, in my opinion, and the sort of impending crisis that's coming down the road of antibiotic resistance.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think that one of the reasons that I'd like to talk about this is because if people can make do in terms of coughs and colds and not pressurising their GPs into antibiotics, everybody can play a part in helping stop this resistance, because ultimately we'll all pay the price for it if it happens. But yeah, there's this biotech company who's hoping to start human trials within 3 years for a super antibiotic, a Warhead antibiotic on the resistant drugs.
Because when was the last time we made any antibiotics?
Oh, I don't have off the top of my head, I don't know, but it's a while. I mean, drug companies are resistant, good pun, but they're resistant to wanting to do that because it costs lots and lots of money. Then it comes off patent and anybody can make it. So it's a commercial decision that's driving it. But the antibiotics that we do have are a precious, sacred resource. And everybody has to take responsibility for that in terms of not just running to the GP. Even if they make superbug antibiotics, even like the basic simple antibiotics, we've got to treat carefully.
Yeah, really important issue, that.
But eventually we could be back at square one if we overuse those super antibiotics.
Yep.
So, conundrum. Thanks very much, both. We are going to take a break. Much more coming up in the papers. Stay with us. Well, Ella and Kishan still with us, taking us through the newspapers.
Kishan, office yoga. This is interesting because should we be doing more at work? Should business owners be doing more to take pressure off the health service when it comes to staff health?
100%. I mean, we spend most of our lives at work. And I think a little bit of freedom, a little bit of flexibility. Again, another pun there for yoga. Thanks, getting into it now. But no, a little in terms of, I can't help myself, sorry. But yeah, no, it's really important because you can save a lot of money in terms of staff sickness. And as a doctor, prevention is obviously better than cure. So little innovative approaches to taking different measures to just help staff is a good thing. And I think it should be kind of promoted, really. I think it's really important.
Getting employers to really accept the the validation of this type of treatment and spend the money.
I mean, I think the danger is people be thinking, oh, you know, it's a waste of time and what you're doing, but and there's always a focus on business and targets and costs, and you know, just we get tunnel vision in terms of that and not looking at the bigger picture. So just step back, give people a little bit of space to relax, and they'll come back, be more productive. But interestingly, in the UK, we spend the most hours at work, but we're the least productive.
Yes.
So there's a lot of sort of just coasting and just sitting around there.
Yeah.
Make a
Thanks.
good boss.
Come on, thanks.
Ellen and Kishan, thank you very much for taking us through the papers this morning. Let's see what's happening with the sport now with Rob.